Hello everybody, happy Saturday. Welcome to my channel, Mosaic Maria. So I'm making a quick stir fry here without a wok. I know, I need a little room here. I've got about 8 ounces of bella mushrooms in here, and I've got a mix that is zucchini, red peppers, red onion, and then I've diced up so I've got bell pepper, red, carrot, zucchini, and like a zucchini slaw. And then I've got the little tiny thin asparaguses. About a half of a packet. You can get 2 for $5, so I grabbed 1 packet of broccoli and cauliflower and 1 packet of skinny asparagus, and then I grabbed a couple of green zucchini and a couple of yellow, and 1 bell pepper, and then just chopped it down like a slaw, and then added 1 medium onion to it with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil and my bella mushrooms. So this recipe I'm playing with, I'm finally to my goal weight, and that happened 3 years, after 3 years of being pandemic bound and in the house and not doing as much. It really just happened after 3 weeks of going to work and walking every day and being on my feet. It really is activity. And you're not as hungry when you're exercising. So for me, I'm 4'11". Actually, I'm less than that now. I lost some more height, so I'm my doctor's gonna freak when she sees me on Wednesday. I'm shorter again. I'm like, I'm a shorty, really shorty now. So I guess at my height, I can be anywhere from 96 to 126 before I'm considered overweight. So now I am overweight by 2 pounds. So I'm in that target range. So I'm 128. But I was up to almost 139, 138, 137, then I'd go all the way down to like 129 again and back up again, and it really stopped the fluctuations once I just kept going every day. So I found a really cool recipe that I'm ripping off of. And I make this all different kinds of ways. It's from 12 Tomatoes. They have great recipes. And it's chicken stroganoff. And what you use is 1.5 pounds of chicken breast, skinless, boneless, and chop it up into little cubes and put it in your slow cooker. You can line your pan if you want to. You don't have to. You can use a liner. I do use a grease, a little spray, cooking spray. Into that you put your chopped chicken. Steam. Let me walk away from it. There we go. So you chop up your chicken breast. I have 3 there, about 1 pound and 35 ounces. Chop it up, you put it in there, and on the stove, you make a roux with 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, or you could use salted, but I use unsalted, and then 3 tablespoons of flour. So you start mixing that together as it melts, and it becomes a nice roux. Just kind of the beginning of like a bechamel sauce, a white sauce. But then you add 1/2 cup of chicken broth. I used reduced sodium chicken broth because I didn't have any chicken broth in my freezer, which is so unusual for me. So I used Goya packet chicken broth. I used 1/4 of a packet because 1 packet reduced sodium Goya. 1 reduced sodium Goya packet makes 2 cups, so I used 1/4 of a cup for 1/2 cup. And then I made the whole cup, but I only used 1/4 of a cup. So you go ahead and you make your roux, and once it cooks, your flour cooks out, your butter is all melted. You add your chicken broth slowly, and it will thicken up again. Like it'll almost look like custard or pie crust starting to get pasty. Let that cook out, and then add 1/2 cup of milk. I've done it where I've added, over the pandemic, I added dry milk. That was fine. 1/4 of a cup of dry milk. I've done 1/4 of a cup of evaporated milk, or a half a cup of 2%, or a half cup of whole milk, whatever you have. You can really play with the amounts if you don't want it too creamy. So this is supposed to be a chicken stroganoff. So I also have 8 ounces of mushrooms and 1 small onion in there. I used portobello mushrooms. I'm just going to cook it out till all the liquid is gone, but actually I'm going to leave a little liquid in because I'm going to add a little bit of the chicken broth to it as it cooks out, and then to that I'm going to add lemon, the zest of lemon, and put that in there. I also have a little bit of cracked black pepper and a little bit of cracked salt pepper. There's no iodine in that salt. It's just Dollar Tree special. I used olive oil from Wegmans. And so when it gets to be, you can either do 4 to 6 hours on high or 6 to 8 hours on low. I find my cooker actually works quicker with chicken on low, and it's really cooked. I put mine on 7 hours and it's already cooked. So once you make your roux with your chicken broth, your flour, and your milk, and your butter, you let it sit on the stove for 3 to 5 minutes on low until it's thick like a custard, and then you pour that over it. And then you go ahead and you put some Italian seasoning on top of it, or if you like thyme, or you like oregano, or you like poultry seasoning, you could season it with whatever you like. If you want to make it like a paprika, chili, cumin kind of, if you want to go Mexican with it, you can do anything you want with this. I used Italian seasoning. Then at the end, you saute up your mushrooms like an onion. I grabbed some extra vegetables because I'm going to make it a chicken Primavera kind of stroganoff. So I'll have all the colors of the rainbow in there, which I like. Pretty food. Who doesn't, right? So here I have my sour cream, my cream cheese. It calls for 4 ounces of cream cheese that you're going to cut and just put little dots on top of your chicken at the end, the last hour. I have already whipped, so I'm just going to do not even 2 ounces, barely a tablespoon and a half. And then it calls for a half of a cup of sour cream. At the end, you put this in, you turn your heat off, and you just let it stand warm. Like the last hour, you start pulling apart your chicken with 2 forks. So pull your chicken, then add your sour cream, whatever amount you want. Recipe calls for half a cup. Recipe calls for 4 ounces of the bar, but I have the whipped. That's what I had in the house, so that's what I'm using. And it'll be fine. Just do that. And then what I like to do, and I put a little bit of garlic in here, not a lot, and a little bit of basil, and thyme. And what I like to do is then get your cream in there. And I know people think this will curdle it, but the lemon really brings it to where it needs to be for me. So it becomes a lemony chicken kind of Primavera stroganoff. If you just put the mushrooms and the onions in it with the cream cheese and the sour cream, you have a chicken stroganoff, which is delicious. And you could put it over noodles that you cook, or couscous, or kiwan, or rice, or amaranth, farro, anything you want. Or you don't have to put it over anything. So the purpose, what I'm doing is I'm adding my vegetables to it because I don't really want to put it over pasta. So I'm just making a Primavera chicken lemon. So you just add a little touch of lemon to it and it'll be so pretty. It'll smell so good. At the very end, don't keep it on the heat too long. That's the recipe I'm doing today. I'm playing with, I love 12 tomatoes, always has good recipes. It was a little too dairy for me. I'm not really a dairy person. You want to get most of this water out. And just let it all cook out until everything is soft. And just set it aside. Alright. And I have 5 hours to go on low, so I'm just going to set it aside with a lid on it. Even pop it in the fridge if I have to. And I might even just cook up an egg and use part of that vegetable for my breakfast. And then put the rest in, let it continue to cook. And put your cheese in it with your little bit of lemon at the very end. A little parsley. Or if you're going Mexican, a little cilantro. You're all set. It's nice, creamy, comforting. It's starting to get chilly out, autumn. So it's a stroganoff. It's a new take on traditional stroganoff, 12 tomatoes. But I like to add more vegetables to it than pasta. We've got autumn, whenever that tree turns. All of these trees will be orange pretty soon. I can't wait. My cat's been having a lot of fun watching the leaves come down. And boy, it's really chilly today. Like 40-something degrees. I'm doing that fake sun that it does in the fall, you know, baking us out. So, I hope you'll try this. Let me know how you like it. You can make it just like the recipe says. Make your roux, pour it over your chicken in your slow cooker. You could do this in the oven in a casserole dish or a Pyrex or 9x10 pan for $3.50 for a half an hour. Just make sure your chicken is cooked to at least 165 degrees. So make sure you have an instant reader. And if you've already cut your chicken into chunks, little chunks, you might have to stack them all. Make sure you get through all of them slanted, and then you'll get the right temperature. So you can see the water is going away. So some of this I'm going to take aside and just crack an egg over it, because I haven't eaten yet. And then the rest is going in the slow cooker right over. And I don't want these to be too soggy. The rest is going over the chicken with my sour cream and my cream cheese. You could use, if you have avocado, you could use avocado. You could add, like this is the rest of my chicken broth. So I could add some more of my chicken broth to that and some flour, and it would just be a little thicker. And that's it. I hope you're all enjoying your Saturday and you'll try this recipe and let me know again. That is like almost done. Done. But I'm going to let it cook a little longer. It just depends on the power around here, our electricity. We get power surges when people are home on the weekend. Things blow out. Things cook. You put it on low, it cooks really fast. You put it on high, it burns it. It's just... So, yeah, power surges. So, it might cook a little quicker. And really easy peasy. That's just about where I want it. Because I don't want a soggy egg when I crack my egg over it. And I really just, I think I hit within reach of my goal weight just by walking every day. By walking and being awake at 4 o'clock in the morning and getting out the door by when I have to and cleaning and doing and going and a lot of lifting. So... crossing my fingers that 10 won't come back to find me, and I'm gonna make sure that I don't reward myself. That's one of the things I realized when trying to get weight off. I would get like 5 to 7 pounds off, 8 pounds, and I'd be heading in the right direction, and then I'd be like, I should reward myself because I'm doing so good. It only takes 1 or 2 times stopping for fast food, and then you're in trouble again. So cook as much as you can at home. I like to do like Sandra Lee, like a little semi-homemade. Take a little help from the store when you can. Especially during pandemic. We all had pantry food to use up. That's pretty much gone, but I'm stocking up on soups in the freezer again. Which is what shocked me, that I didn't have my chicken broth ready. Alright, so it's going to be a chicken Primavera in my slow cooker that came from a it's going to be a lemon chicken Primavera. I'm just going to call it rainbow lemon chicken Primavera because that's what it reminds me of. Okay, you could put it over a noodle or rice, or you could put it over nothing. It'll be fun. Have a nice day, everyone. Take care. Thanks for dropping in. I hope you try this recipe. Bye. Hi everybody. Okay, so I said I would come back when this recipe is done, and it is done. This is what I am calling my rainbow lemon chicken Primavera. I have a little bit of thin pasta in a little pie plate here. And my crock pot, I'm to 1 hour and 9 minutes. So I set it for 7 hours. You can cook this for 6 to 8 hours on low, or 4 to 6 hours on high. So mine is very done. And again, I added vegetable stir fry, like carrot matchsticks, cut up red pepper, little tiny skinny asparagus, mushroom, and onion. So the original recipe was 12 tomatoes, chicken stroganoff, where you add mushroom and onion. You're using a little bit of cream cheese and a little bit of sour cream. And you're making a roux with butter, flour, and a little bit of chicken broth. I used reduced chicken broth, half a cup. I used barely 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. It calls for 3 tablespoons. I really went shy of 3 tablespoons and made a light roux. Whisked in my chicken broth, added my milk really slow, let it thicken up on the stove on simmer for 3 to 5 minutes after I cut the flour out. Chopped up my chicken, put it in my pan. I did spray my pan with canola spray because I didn't want to ruin my pan, but you could, because mine tends to go a little bit too hot and my counter leans, so it gets a little burnt on one side. So everything gets a little bit more done on one side always, so I'm always rotating. So there it is. So you just dot a little bit of your cream cheese on the top of your chicken. Remember to put Italian seasoning in it, or I ended up putting a little basil and thyme and Italian. And there is my, I'm going to get a little juice. And it's just really, really pretty. It makes a nice gravy. It's a really cozy, delicious lemon creamy Primavera. And there's no Parmesan cheese in this. So unlike many Primaveras, there's no Parmesan in it. But that's okay. Where's my fork? I was going to taste, but I don't see my fork. Not my fork. Somewhere there's a fork. It went missing. I like the little small tines from. So this is going to be really hot, so I'm not going to taste much. But I guess you could put Parmesan cheese. You could put a little feta, but that is the result. And I zested. I used a handheld grater to zest 1 lemon, and I used the juice of 1 lemon into my cream cheese and a half a cup of sour cream with my chicken broth, roux, and my chicken. And that's it. So lemony, light Primavera. Slurpably delicious. So I'm going to end the video by slurping. So good. Okay? So good. Perfect for a chilly day where it's like 40-something degrees out. It's definitely sweatshirt weather. cozy up with a book, do some knitting, crocheting, clean your house, whatever. And it's done. So thank you, slow cooker. And to my daughter who gave me the slow cooker, and my son-in-law, my kids, my son and my son-in-law, and my daughter who gave me the slow cooker, which has changed my life, as I've mentioned quite often. I would have been such a better mother had I had a slow cooker when I was going to work all the time. And oh my God, I feel so bad now. I would have never given my kids, like, so many times I broke down and went through the arches, the gold arches of McDonald's, or stopped at a diner, you know, worked late, kids are hungry, I'm hungry. And that's where your money goes. It's not healthy. If you could put something like that on, have it waiting for you when you come home, beautiful. So apologies to my kids. Had I had a gadget like this when I was a young mom, I would have been cooking everything ahead of time, and meals would have been so ready. I always made sure they had good breakfast. But coming home from work, sometimes running in between jobs, I would stop a lot. We did a lot of fast food eating. Regrets you can't take back. All you can do is say you're sorry and learn. All right, moving right along. That is it. You don't need that much pasta. I'm probably not going to eat that. I just plated it up that way. So I've got containers waiting to put it away. It freezes up really good, and it lasts about 2 to 3 days in the refrigerator. And it's delicious. I hope you'll try this recipe. Okay. Bye-bye now.